Hey guys, Alex Dean. Wanted to put together a short video to show you how to get your OMP M2 and other micros, for that matter, to work with the FRSKY radio protocol. This is an Archer RS Mini. I'm going to show you how to get it soldered up and how to make the model work. So you get full telemetry and everything with this, just like you will with the LRS, and no need to have the module on the back of your FRSKY radio. So just showing you what we've got. When you open the box of your M2, you are given a CRSRF or a Crossfire, ELRS, whatever you want to call it, wire basically to use. And I've used an RP2 in the past, but when I got rid of my ELRS module in my FRSKY radio, I wanted to be able to use that without that. So I ordered and got this mini RS receiver available at BK Hobbies, and I'm going to show you how to wire it. All right, here is the wiring when it is completed. So you can see I ended up just removing one of the wires from it. Right there. So you've got the first two, the middle one's gone. And basically it's your ground and power, and then you got one in the middle for space. And then I'll put the diagram up here so you can see what I'm looking at, but there is a wiring diagram available for this as well. So once you got that done, you're gonna plug this into the CRSF Crossfire ELRS receiver port, and then we're gonna get it bound our radio. I'll show you how to do that. I haven't done this yet because I wanted to show you guys all the wiring, but I am going to heat shrink this guy before I attach it to my model. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna show you the binding process.
First step is let's go to model select, and I've already done this, but I've cloned my model, so we're gonna start from here. All right, so this will be set current model, just like that.
Throttle hold.
And depending on how you have your radio set up, this is my volume, so I just want to make sure some of this got captured in the video. So, and then that should be bright enough, dial that up. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the system to do the registration. It's pretty simple. You could do a couple things. You could hit the little airplane. It's a heli video, we probably don't want to do that. We're gonna hit model. Then we can take the wheel and come down to RF system, all right? And then you're gonna come to internal module right here, and you're gonna make sure that this is on, and you wanna make sure you choose access, and we'll scroll down. All of this is just fine. We're gonna come down to where we get to the actual register, okay? Now, yours will not have the RC Plus. Since I cloned my radio, I cloned the model, just don't worry about that. And the RS Mini is actually how it was done when the model file was uploaded from FRSKY, so FRSKY, whatever you want to call it. So you're not gonna need to mess with that, but you should have at least these two other ports open. And so if you have RX1, you should have RX2. Again, you won't have RX1 because that, you could clear this if you like. So if I click here and try to do that, right, I can hit clear. Are you sure you want to delete this, unbind this receiver? If I hit yes, right, so now that frees up RX1, okay? So if you wanted to make it RX1, that's how you can get rid of what the model was there. And so now I'm gonna simply click register.
Register.
Okay, and so now we have to go through the process of powering this up and getting the button. Now, my rig here is a little trying to focus, but you should have a little button on your RC Plus receiver. As far as that goes, I'm going to zoom out just a bit so it gets in focus. I shrink wrapped mine with the clear, so what I'm going to do is you have to hold this button down. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and power up this model, and the blades are off, so please make sure you do that. Okay.
Register.
And then hit register. Registration's okay, so we're gonna hit okay. All right. And so now we're gonna go to RX1, and then we're gonna power cycle the model. So I'm gonna unplug this. So now we're unplugged. I'm gonna plug back in. Okay. choose
Bind.
bind. And I'm going to power cycle this, plug it back in. You see now that it says RC Pro Plus. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so y'all can see that a little better. Move my screen over. All right. So I'm going to choose that, hit OK, and now we are bound. Okay. So, and if you notice, nothing's happening with the model yet because we have to go make a change to get this to F port. Okay. So I'm going to move this closer into the screen. The RC Plus that you have bound to, you're going to select that. You're going to go all the way up to options. All right. It's going to take a second.
Low warning.
You're going to get this and you're going to come down to telemetry port. All right. And you're going to make that into F port.
VFR low warning.
And you can hear it arm. And now we've got everything working. Now, if you have a Mini, and I believe this has been covered off in the video, you would have to invert your bus, but we do not have to do that on the Archer RC Plus, okay? And so now this is bound. I'm going to go ahead and you see where telemetry is on. You want to make sure that's on, okay? So all this other stuff is just fine. I'm going to hit return, get all the way back to the model, okay? You want to go to telemetry. This is where you're gonna, this is all the magic we want, right? So gonna hit telemetry. You want to make sure, you should see everything, but what you can do, right, and everybody kind of knows this. So discover new sensors. We're gonna turn that on and it will find everything that the telemetry can do, okay? And so I'm gonna go back up here and I'm gonna hit return. You could touch the screen. I just trying to keep my hand out of frame. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna hit return, right? Go back. And so now that it's plugged in, I'm reading all my telemetry, okay? Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in idle one.
Sensor lost.
And because it's just sitting here in activity. And there we go. So, works like a charm.
Throttle hold.
And that will get you guys in the air. I hope that helps, and y'all have a great day. Thanks so much. And we just want to try to help as much as we can to get you moving onto flying with your M2 V3 Pro. So to do that, there's some simple ways to do it and get you in the air as fast as you can. So FRSKY has their operating system, which is Ethos, and there's a couple ways we can get to this site. So you could get to it from FRSKY and click Ethos, which will take you here, and then you could also go to Ethos FRSKY-RC.com and land on this page. Now, when you do this, right, you're going to be looking for the models. They're not in the download section. They're not in the Ethos section. You're going to scroll all the way down, and you'll see the Resource Center right here, okay? And so when you click on these, you're going to get all these templates that have been made, and it's really cool that they spent the time to do this. They work perfectly. Obviously, you can amend them if you want to, but so if I'm going to click this, right, so I'm going to go ahead and click the templates, and you'll see helicopter, and it's actually the top one that we want right here, right, is the M2 V3 Pro. Now, before you do any of this, I always think it's good practice to back up your radio before you make any changes, just in case you get a disk error or something like that. So if you're familiar with Ethos, you'll know that the Ethos suite, right, is here, and you connect your radio with a USB-C cable to the top of the radio. When it comes on the screen, you choose Ethos, and it brings up the screen. And it'll take just a second to talk to the server. If you're out of date on firmware, you could, you kind of want to keep up to that because they're pretty good about it. But the model manager is where you would want to go. You can click this folder right here, and it would tell you where you might want to store it. For me, I have a whole, I'm well organized on this stuff, right? So I have a rotor flight folder. I have my things here, and I make backups of my radio, whenever doing things, right? So it's kind of a good practice because we can always get back to where we need to go, right? So I would definitely do a backup before you do anything to your radio, period, because it's just good practice. I'm not going to do that here because it would take a little bit because I always write my audio. But again, this is what I would do first, okay? So after we've done that, the next thing we'd move on to is downloading the actual files. So I'm going to go ahead and click download. It's a super tiny file. And so I'm going to go ahead and open up this to the downloads folder. And you'll see, let me clean this up, get rid of this browser so we got a clean screen. I'm going to go ahead and close the Ethos suite. We don't need it for this purpose. And depending on your Mac or PC, if you're a Mac, you probably have things set up. Either way, we want to go to the downloads folder. And so when you get to this, and I'm going to go ahead and delete this one, sorry about that. You're going to open this folder and you're going to see 2 model files and everything that goes with it. We obviously do not need the Express, so I'm going to delete that just to clean up, to make things simpler to navigate. And as you notice, this is my radio file that is on the desktop. As I click that, I'm going to open up the scripts. I'm going to open up the scripts. Now, the main thing is you do not want to drag the scripts to scripts. You just want to copy the contents of the scripts folder to the scripts folder of the radio, right? Because depending on how many models or things you're running, if you're running the stuff from Rob Thomas, you may have folders here, you may have airplanes on here, so we don't want to mess that up. But simply all we have to do, depending on how your Mac's set up, you can hit right click and choose copy. You could hit Command C and hit copy, right? So if I hit Command C, now that's just on the clipboard. When I come here, you would hit Command V on your radio. You will get, if you, in this case, I've already done this, so I'm going to get this folder rename thing. I'm not going to replace it here. You will not have that. And you would just hit copy, okay? I have found that if you drag and copy, sometimes weird things can happen. And so simply just either right click or Command C, whatever you need, and pasting it in is the simplest way to go. You'll see the bitmaps. Now they've got the model inside here, and the cool thing is that if we look at the bitmaps and the models here, they've got all the imagery for it. Now my M2V3 is the orange one. It's the only one that I want, so I only copied the one. If you have a bunch or think you might want to change this, this is so the Lua can see a bitmap when you open up the model on your radio, which we'll cover later. You'll be able to do that as far as that goes. So again, you could copy all of them or just one. Same thing. And on the models, this is what you're going to need right here, is to copy this model file that they've created. Now it's important that you copy the model and these scripts, because without these Luas, it's not going to work. Okay, so make sure that you copy that into your model, and again, it'll have access on it. And if you have other models in there, you might leave it. I left it like that so that I can change it later, but I had already had another model on here for the V3, so I didn't want to get confused on that. So and so you'll have all of that. And so as you do that, then you would simply go ahead and let me close this download folder. We'll close this radio folder and simply select both these. I can hit eject, right click, or I can drag them to the trash or hit Command E. I'm just going to hit eject with my mouse. And so now we will continue on to seeing this on the radio and buying process and connecting to the helicopter. Thanks so much. See you in a minute.